Today, inshallah, we're going to be learning the biography of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, which is the fourth Khalifa and the last Khalifa of the Khulafa al-Rashidin. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu, his nickname was Abu al-Hasan, or his kunya was Abu al-Hasan. His name is Ali ibn Abi Talib al-Hashimi al-Talib radiallahu anhu. He had another nickname, which is Abu Turab. It's because one day he was angry with Fatima and he was leaning on a wall and his back was dusty, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to him, Abu Turab, the son of the companion of sand, stand up. So anyway, he was the cousin of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his son-in-law, so he married Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he was one of his close companions. He was the fourth Khalifa. He was one of the 10 who were given the good glad tidings of entering paradise. Ali radiallahu anhu was also famous for being eloquent. He had wisdom. He's got some poems also that are written, attributed to him. He was also a symbol of courage and strength. And he had this justice and asceticism, so he was zahid. We're going to see that during the battles, like he took part in all the battles, the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Badr, Uhud, Ahzab, and most of these battles, he was the one who used to come out to drill the other opponents. So there would be a little spar between two people of two opponents before the main war, and Ali was always one of them. So he was called Asadullah al-Ghalib, the lion of Allah who is always a winner. Also, he was a very knowledgeable person. So, especially in his knowledge, like he knew all the verses of the Quran when they were revealed. He also had a very good understanding of fiqh, and he gave fatwas. Whenever he gave Islamic ruling, people accepted his ruling. His judgment was very good. Okay. Also, he was someone who always used to fast. We're going to see that even when we're going to see at the end of his life, how he died, he was also fasting on that day. Okay, in his early life, he was born 30 years after the year of the elephant. So he's 30 years younger than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam became a prophet at the age of 40, he was 10. And about that age, he accepted Islam. Ali was brought up by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he was constantly with him wherever he went. Why was that? Because Abu Talib radiallahu anhu, his father, he had financial problems, and he told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to look after Ali, and Ja'far was being looked after by his uncle Abbas. He married Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And even Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Fatima, I married you to one of the most beloved men in my house, or one of the most beloved people in my house, my family. Also, he was the second or the third to convert to Islam. So he was one of the first boys. But they don't know if he was first, or was Abu Bakr first, or was, obviously, most likely Abu Bakr before them, or was he before Zayd? And we don't know exactly. But he was the first from the children. He was also known for his strength and skills in fighting. And so, for example, in these battles, like in the Battle of the Trench, he was not, like, you can see what he was doing. And in the Battle of Khaybar, he was given the flag. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لَأُعْطِيَنَّ الرَّايَةَ غَدًا لِرَجُلٍ يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. I will give the flag to a person a man who loves Allah and His Messenger, and Allah and His Messenger love him. So everybody thought they were going to get it, but he said it is Ali, and Ali had a problem with his eye, so he read some Quran, and Ali became better. So Ali was the one who opened Khaybar. So he was at the forefront. Ali also was one of the trusted members, he was one of the trusted companions of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to write down the Quran, he was one of the scribes, he was one of the ambassadors and ministers. It is said that one time Khalid bin Walid was sent to Yemen, but not many people accepted Islam. But when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Ali, there was one tribe accepted Islam, and almost all of Yemen accepted Islam because of Ali. Okay, we know how Ali was during the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and how he was like always advising Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam by his side. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to say, "You are like to me how Musa was to Harun, or Harun was to Musa, except that there's no prophet after me." So he was very close to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also he was like his brother. He made him his brother. Like when they got to Medina, everybody was given a brother that would support him, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was made had the relationship with Ali. So anyway, we know like what he did when he slept in the bed of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was migrating. So I'm not going to go into the seerah, but I'm going to look at when he becomes Khalifa. Okay. So last week, remember, we talked about how Uthman was killed. So when Uthman was killed, people came to Ali radiallahu anhu and they said to him, "You should be the leader." Remember, because they were deciding in the beginning who should be the leader, Uthman and Ali, so they chose Uthman. Now it's quite clear Uthman should be the leader, and they chose him. But at the beginning, he rejected it. He said, I don't want to take this responsibility. But they said, if you don't, there's going to be divisions between the Muslims. Okay? But anyway, he became the leader in the 35th year after Hijrah, which is 656 CE, I like to say Common Era in Medina, and he ruled for 5 years. But during those years, there was political instability, which means there's going to be wars, there's going to be problems within the Muslims, not wars with the Roman Empire or another empire, but within the Muslims themselves. But he moves his capital to Kufa, which is in Iraq. Okay? So because of what happened at the time of Ali radiallahu anhu, there was different sects coming about, or the different ideological groups, disputes. So we're going to see the Shia started to come about, and the Khawarij, the ones who always rebel against the Muslim governments and kill Muslims, like ISIS and other groups. Okay, so Ali radiallahu anhu, when he became a leader, he said he's going to implement the Sharia, he's going to establish justice, because this is what people wanted. He said he's not going to prefer anybody, he's not going to discriminate. This is what they accused Uthman of. And he said he's going to bring back any money that was taken by the governors or the relatives of Uthman and his close associates. Because this was the problem. Although there was some mistakes Uthman made through judgment, his judgment, qiyas, but he will still get rewarded for making those judgments. People should have still obeyed him. And the companions always love each other. There's differences. There's always been differences, as human beings are. But anyway, Ali radiallahu anhu, he makes some changes to the governors. So he makes sure to make things stable first, he changes the governors. So Samura bin Jundub was sent in place of Abdullah ibn Amr in Basra. And in Kufa, he sent Amara bin Sihab instead of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. And Ubaydullah ibn Abbas instead of Ya'la ibn Munabbih. And Egypt, he sent Qasim ibn Sa'ad bin Ubaidah instead of Abdullah ibn Sa'ad ibn Sarah. And in Syria, or the Levant, and this is very important, he sent Sahal ibn Hanif instead of Muawiyah ibn Sufyan. So this is where a problem came from. Muawiyah himself was not accepting the leadership of Ali. And also there was a problem with Amr ibn As as well, we're going to see. But anyway, what happens is that Ali radiallahu anhu was preparing to go to Muawiyah, because Muawiyah was the governor of Levant or Syria or Sham, and he wanted him to come under his control. So there's no division between the Muslims. So while he was planning to do that, there was another problem. There was a battle of the camel, battle of Jamal, Ma'arakatul Jamal, the 36 AH. This now was a problem between companions. Aisha, Talha and Zubair, who were not, they pledged alliance to Ali, but they were not fully satisfied. Okay? So they go to Aisha bint Abu Bakr, the wife of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, while she was performing Hajj, or she's coming back from Hajj, and they said that we should go after the people who killed Uthman, because Ali radiallahu anhu wanted to delay that. He wanted to make sure he's got full control before he goes after those people. Okay? So Talha and Zubair and Aisha, they march with an army. I don't know how big the army is. Some people say it was 30,000. We don't know exactly. Here it says 10,000. Could be, yeah. So we don't know exactly how much it is. There's different narrations, but here it says 10,000. So Ali radiallahu anhu, so they camp near Basra, and when Ali radiallahu anhu finds out about this, he changes his plan, and then he sends Ammar ibn Yasir to the people of Kufa. Okay? And he tells them to get ready an army. So now this is Muslims fighting Muslims. They go to Ali radiallahu anhu, then he when he comes to see the army of Aisha radiallahu anha and Talha and Zubair, he negotiates with them, he tells them to go back and that he's going to deal with the situation, but they don't really, they don't listen, and they insist on fighting. And they don't want to fight Ali, they want to catch the people who are there who killed Uthman. Okay? But anyway, the battle starts, and the reason why it's called the Battle of the Camel is because Aisha radiallahu anhu was riding on a camel, and then the fighting starts. Ali radiallahu anhu ends up winning the battle, and Talha and Zubair are killed. So obviously when there's a battle, people will die. But this was a great fitna between the Muslims. And what happened was then Ali radiallahu anhu, he escorts Aisha radiallahu anha back to Medina. He escorts her back to Medina. So about 13,000 people died in this battle. This was the first fitna, and no Muslims wanted this to happen, but this is the beginning of the fitna. Okay, the next battle is the Battle of Siffin. And what happens when Ali finished with this battle, because he was trying to control and make sure the Muslims are united, and he goes to Muawiyah ibn Sufyan. Muawiyah ibn Sufyan, who was the governor of Syria at the time of Uthman, he didn't want to step down, okay? Because when the leader says step down, you're supposed to step down. He didn't want to get dismissed. So, and he said, I want the revenge for my cousin Uthman. So when Ali finished the Battle of Camel, he went with his army and he camped near a place called Siffin. So they made negotiations. There were letters going one side from another side. Ali doesn't want this to happen, but at the end of the day, you have to follow the leader. This continued for 100 days, and it said also Muawiyah's people, they camped near the water, so the other army couldn't get the water. So there was problems happening, and Ali radiallahu anhu, at the end, he becomes victorious, and he was about to win the battle. But then Muawiyah's army, was Amr ibn As, who was the governor of Egypt. They came up with a plan. They said, let's tell the soldiers to raise the Quran with their space and say we're going to have a negotiation, arbitration in the Islamic law. So we're going to negotiate according to Quran and Sunnah. This is not a bad thing, but it is said that Amr ibn As and Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, and basically they will say it was a trick to trick Ali, and we'll see how it becomes a trick. So what happened was, sorry, this is a lot of writing, but Ali saw the soldiers, when they see that Ali accepted this for Muslims to negotiate, there was a new group that came up. This group is called the Khawarij, okay? And they rejected this agreement. And they saw Muawiyah also as a non-believer, as a kafir. And they saw Ali also as a non-Muslim. They didn't accept Ali and Muawiyah. So they left and they made their own army, and they said, La hukma illallah. There is no judgment but of Allah. And they set up a camp called Harura. So this is the first group that came out from the Muslims, a new sect, and they're called the Khawarij, and the same ideology, same idea exists in the ideology of Shabab and ISIS and or any group who fight against Muslims and kill the Muslims. So we're going to see what happens with them. But Ali will fight them at the end, but he makes a negotiation with Muawiyah. So Amr ibn As, they sign an agreement saying they will come back next year and they'll consider who should be the leader for the benefit of the people. So Muawiyah went back to Syria and Ali went to Kufa. Okay? But they come back the next year, but before they come back, something happens. I'm going to come back to that, but before, when Ali now dealt with Muawiyah and that's been put on hold, now he goes to fight those people who were going against the government, the Khalifa, and he went to fight the Khawarij or the Kharijites. He went to them, he first gave them ultimatum, and he said, he basically said Ibn Abbas to give them da'wah, to make them understand. A lot of them came and joined his camp, his army, and some of them just didn't listen to him. And what they did was, anybody that they would ask people, who do you follow, who's your Khalifa? If they said Ali or Muawiyah, they would kill these people. Okay, so they're killing people and they're looting people. And then Ali radiallahu anhu, he went to them. So the battle of Naharawan, he went there and he destroyed them. Only some of them remained. So Ali radiallahu anhu was very powerful. He was trying to stabilize and cause no fitna. Then there was this new group called the Shia. Okay? This new group called the Shia movement. So Abdullah ibn Saba, remember the hypocrite who accepted Islam at the time of Uthman, and he was a Jew. But you can kind of see the similarity between Shi'ism, the Shia, and the Jews as well. I kind of think it's all about family. So he came up with this idea of making Ali basically like a god, or defying him, or making him into like giving him God qualities, that he doesn't make mistakes. He's fallible and all of that. Doesn't make mistakes. So anyway, Ali radiallahu anhu, when he saw these people are coming with kufr, okay, acts of kufr, he gathered them and he ordered the digging of a trench and he set them on fire and he executed them and he only left a few of them. So Ali, you can see, he got rid of the Khawarij and he got rid of the Shia, but the idea of the Shia continued on. So although it was a mistake to burn, maybe some other companions told him that you shouldn't punish with fire, but it's just, we probably got to him what they were doing as a warning. Anyway, that was his judgment. So what happened after that was Ali radiallahu anhu, still waiting for the judgment. Although even if I go back here, in the meeting the year after, they started to so Abu Musa al-Ash'ari was the one who was behind the pledge, behind the arbitration, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, and also Amr ibn As. So anyway, they were both actually coming from the side of Muawiyah, and they said, we pledge our lines to Muawiyah. Okay? And Ali disagreed with them, and to the extent he says he was biting his fingers and he was saying, am I going to be disobeyed? And I'm the Khalifa and Muawiyah is going to be obeyed. So he didn't accept this. So they were still going through this negotiation. But anyway, what happened before this even happened, the Khawarij, that group that he destroyed, they were planning the killing of Muawiyah and Amr ibn As and Ali ibn Abi Talib. They wanted to get rid of all of them. So they said that Abdurrahman ibn Muljam, who was one of the Khawarij, he soaked his sword in poison, okay? And it is said that he agreed with two others. One of them kills Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. One kills Amr ibn As. and the other one kills Ali ibn Abi Talib. Okay? So on the 17th of Ramadan, this guy, Abdurrahman ibn Muljam, he comes to Ali radiallahu anhu and he kills Ali, but he couldn't kill the other two. They couldn't kill the other two. Ali was leading the prayer, leading the Muslims in the dawn prayer. He was getting ready for the prayer in the Kufa masjid, and he said that day he was also fasting. Abdurrahman Muljam hit him with a sword, poison sword on his head, and it went into his brain. And then Ali radiallahu anhu says, Fuztu wa Rabbul Kaaba. I won by the Lord of the Kaaba. So he was happy that he was killed, and he's going to die he's going to be killed. He was stabbed and he was going to die as a shaheed. Okay? And he knew it was basically, he was killed in an injustice way. But 3 days later, the poison gets into his body and he dies on the 21st of Ramadan, in the 40th year after Hijrah, at the age of 64. Okay? And what do we believe? What is the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah? We believe as Muslims that of the people of the Sunnah, that we don't say anything bad about the companions. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when companions are mentioned, فَأَمْسِكُوا, don't say anything. Like, don't say anything bad about them. And when Qadr is mentioned, don't debate. Okay? Because you can't understand Qadr. And then the Sahaba went through them. They were fighting each other, but they were still brothers. And all of them was going according to his judgment. But what happened was, the people who had this Shia kind of ideology, they started to curse Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Muawiyah on the minbar when they're doing the khutbahs. Okay? And then you have the other extreme group, the Khawarij, who didn't want anybody. So this is what we believe regarding the companions radiallahu anhu. And Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us anyway that this is going to happen. There's going to be a fitna at the end of time. Okay, but after that, Hassan becomes the leader, and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, my grandson Hassan is going to be a reason why two great armies, okay, negotiate, and he's going to stop a great war. So Hassan bin Ali becomes the new leader, and then after that, when he sees Muawiyah, he steps down for Muawiyah, and Muawiyah becomes the leader, and then the Muslims after that, they start to progress, and there's a new dynasty called the Umayyad dynasty, or new empire. Inshallah, in the future we will study that as well.